We're here at ETHDenver with James Fry, the head of marketing at Across. Can you see us okay? James, can you give us the TLDR on ERC 7683, which is cross-chain intents? Just to break it down, tell us what it does for users and how it improves bridging.
So 7683 is open standard that we co-developed with the Uniswap team, and essentially it's exactly what you said. It's intents-based messaging or intents-based bridging. The whole purpose of it is you, the user, when you click a button, you have an intention, the underlying intention of what you clicked, whether it's you're buying an NFT or you're transferring assets between chains, that intention is what's being filled in the infrastructure under the hood. So a really good example is if you're bridging ETH from Arbitrum to Base, the user just wants to know that they're receiving their ETH on Base. They don't need to know what happened behind the scenes to make that work, but we're handling the stuff behind the scenes to make that work. And at Across, what that would look like is the intent is being filled by a solver network. That solver network is a decentralized marketplace where the solvers are competing. The best way to think about it is like if there's only one store selling TVs, that store controls the price of TVs. But if you have 30 stores, then the user or the consumer benefits. And so that's what we're doing for the end user. We're saying make the solver network a competitive marketplace so that the user wins by having faster fills, cheaper fills, and in the end, it's just better for the user.
You give us a little TLDR on solvers as well?
Yeah.
How they work with the intent?
Absolutely. So a lot of times when you think about intents, you think about a single solver who's filling those orders. But the way it works is that the user, they have their intent, they want to bridge, like we said, from Arbitrum to Base or whatever it is. Then the solver network is the one that's filling that. But the reason that we can fill these orders, L2 to L2 is often like 2 to 3 seconds, very, very fast, is because we're not waiting for finality. We're letting the solver fill that order, and then we make the solver whole after the fact. And we can bundle all of those orders, save on costs, and then the solvers get a little bit of kickback on that as well.
We're talking about defragmentation of the space. Where do you think the biggest wins will be? Is it cross-chain intents? Is it intents in general?
I know this is going to lead up to another question too, but we have a lot of support for intents across the entire ecosystem. 50 plus teams and protocols, folks like Base, Optimism, Arbitrum, ZK Sync, Polygon, and so many others who are saying, yes, this is the path forward. This is how we make cross-chain interop better, faster, cheaper, more secure for the end user. So really, I think the winning step here is that there's a lot of competition in the space, and competitive mindset says, look at this pie, how do we get as much of this pie as possible? But what I think we're seeing, this pie is far too small. And if we join arms, we work together, technically Arbitrum and Optimism, they're competitors, but they also are willing to say, let's reach across the aisle, let's make sure our users can go between us as easily as possible so that this pie can eventually become much, much larger. And it's that holy grail we're chasing, mass adoption, right? Like we're all shooting for mass adoption. That won't happen if we don't solve fragmentation internally first. It's like you can't invite people over to your house if your house is in shambles, so let's get our shit together.
Who do you think is responsible for that? Do you think it's teams like Across, or do you think it should be like a top-down thing from the Ethereum Foundation?
I think the real answer is both and neither. It's not just Across. Across is one of the teams working toward this. It's not just Ethereum Foundation. There's so much FUD right now about Ethereum Foundation. Are you guys going to do something? What are you guys going to do? I actually think this is the moment for us all to kind of reflect internally. It's sort of like ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country moment. Maybe less grandiose, but like it's that mindset that says, yes, Ethereum Foundation should be involved in this, but also so should Across, and so should every other team that's building in this space. We should all be linking arms and saying, how do we move this forward? It does help to have mass adoption focused on a single standard, because a standard can't be a standard unless we all adopt it. And so that's why I think 7683 being one of the pillars of being able to solve cross-chain interop is really going to move the needle forward.
How many teams are currently adopting 7683?
Yeah, we have over 50 teams and more. It's growing. And 7683 is live in production now, so you can, if you're a builder and you're watching this and you're curious, maybe you want to add cross-chain swaps to your own dApp, reach out to us. We can help you implement and have that open for you. And it's an open standard. In every way, we mean that. Come build it with us. It's not perfect. It's not in its finale finality state yet. There's so much iteration and work that needs to be done because we're focused on interop, but there's going to be more hurdles that present themselves. So we need to figure out how to iterate really quickly and do that with teams across the space.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us. I think if you're a user and you're not a builder and you want to like try out what these cross-chain intents actually mean for you, you can go into Matcha right now and you can do a cross-chain transaction. And a lot of the time it will pick across and you'll see the magic of 1 minute bridging, even quicker than that sometimes, at very, very low fees. So this is really important for the space, is bringing all the chains together, and thank you for the work that you're doing.
Yeah, and likewise, like we couldn't do what we're doing if it weren't for teams like Matcha doing what you're doing. It really is a rising tide that raises all ships, and we believe that. So let's join arms and move Interop forward together.
Thank you so much, James.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome.
Until next time.
That was painless.